Welcome to the MSDW Podcast. I'm Jason Gumpert, editor at MS Dynamics World. On this episode, we are recapping some of the discussions from the Vibe 2026 event from PartnerIn. Vibe was a brand new event this year held in South Padre Island, Texas, with an impressive group of thought leaders from the Microsoft channel. This was a partner-focused event, meaning very little Microsoft presence and more of the issues that channel pros really want to discuss with each other. So what do partners want to talk about? Yes, some do want to talk about the state of AI for Microsoft customer solutions, what's working, how to make it secure and manageable, how to get started, and how to make it part of a partner practice. And Vibe featured a range of these sessions looking at AI and end-to-end business processes in data mining, agent development, security, and sharing customer stories. But when Microsoft isn't drowning out the conversation with its relentless AI focus, partners can also open up the conversation to other areas. And the attendees of Vibe participated in sessions on topics like business process standardization, managing consulting teams, creating more effective relationships between ISVs and VARs, and managing a sales pipeline. In my time at Vibe, which was unfortunately limited by weather-related travel problems, I heard from Microsoft partners who see an ecosystem still full of promise. Joel Leichty, a Dynamics 365 F&O veteran and co-founder of data services firm Cooptimize, has built his firm as a worker-owned operation that rejects many of the elements of the traditional hierarchical business power structure. He told me about his session and the reactions from the audience to his presentation on building a different type of business in the Microsoft ecosystem that works both for the workers and for their clients.
So the main theme today was really about democracy at work, is kind of the general term for it. So it's kind of new ways of organizing companies. It's very common. So Cooptimize is a worker cooperative. That's the co-op part of Cooptimize. And it's a common thing in the space for a cooperative to be managed democratically. So that's what I was presenting on today, is some of the ways that impacts making decisions in companies and in projects.
Yeah, my take from the very engaged audience that was there was that they had a lot of questions, and people really haven't seen this kind of model in action. They're very used to, I think, a couple of things. One is the small business sort of independent operator model, and then the sort of hierarchical boss manager top-down kind of model. Is that the sense you got to?
Yeah, and I thought it was great questions, and one of the interesting things is it's hard to explain what I'm talking about without experiencing it.
Yeah.
Even people that join our company, it just takes a while for them to get used to like how we do things and how we talk about things and how we make decisions is just different than anything they've ever experienced. So it's hard to give that context to somebody else who just in their career hasn't really been in that kind of situation.
Yeah. What have you experienced so far working at Cooptimize?
Yeah. So the fascinating thing is like democracy kind of changes the way you think. Like I didn't expect that going in. I kind of expected it to change the way we operate, but I didn't expect it to change me. And it just like how you relate and even the language that you use. Like there's language of, for example, one of the common languages in corporations is my team, but that doesn't exist if you don't own a team, right? Like it's my colleagues or the team or whatever. So like that may seem small, but it's just like there's all these little ways that you change the way you interact with other humans.
At TechFluent Academy, Executive Director Carol Smock is interested in not just the skills that her organization's trainees should be growing, but where in the Microsoft ecosystem there's demand for new talent trained on the latest technology. Carol explained that her time at Vibe was a chance to understand more about channel trends and what attendees, most of whom are veterans of the Microsoft space, are seeing out in the real world.
Everything that's going on in the space is evolving rapidly, obviously, and I'm just learning so much so fast. The partners are shifting in the way that they're maneuvering the landscape, and so it's been a fast and furious education.
Yeah, what do you hope to take away from this event that you can put into your work as the director at TechFluent?
So, we started TechFluent as a way to educate new entry-level consultants. And whether or not we continue to do that is a question that we're trying to answer. We may or may not continue trying to create consultants for the space. We may shift and begin to staff end user companies more so than consultants. It just depends on what is really the right answer. And so that's what I'm really doing here, is to try to figure out, do the consultancies need us to continue creating those types of employees? Is there a place for that person or that persona, or no? And if there's not, then we pivot and we find a way to help these folks find work in other areas of the marketplace.
And TechFluent Academy is wrapping up its latest training cohort. The team is working to place those trained candidates into the right roles, Carol explained.
You know, we have still a lot of graduates that are really capable. So if there are consultancies that are looking for folks who have industry specific experience, we have several folks that learned the platforms, that learned business applications with specific industry behind them. So they could very easily be converted to functional consultants right away. They did get 2 weeks worth of project management, delivery management type experience, as education and experience as well. So I do think that they could hit the ground running as business analysts pretty quickly. The new cohort, they're getting dual certified, so they're getting multiple certifications before their graduation. So lots of pretty smart folks that have come out of the cohorts. So that's the big thing. We've got some new board members, which is exciting. So we've got some new interesting ideas happening. And we're going to be pursuing some new grants in the new year that might open up our ability to offer some different education opportunities. We may be exploring offering Business Central education, as well as some more general AI type education as well.
Vibe also offered veteran Microsoft consultants and developers a chance to trade notes and share stories with their peers. Steve Endow and Tanya Henderson, who are both Microsoft MVPs and together run Blue Dragonfly, a Business Central-focused software development company, have been focused on a range of very current topics, from AI, product development, and the evolving business model to nearshoring and the development of new hires. Steve and Tanya explained to me some of the work that has gone into their venture in the office that they established in El Salvador.
We are growing rapidly. We now have a junior developer, a senior developer. We're building app source apps. We're building PTEs. And given the AI tools like Copilot and Claude and AI-assisted development, we're seeing massive increase in capacity. What would have been just economically non-viable projects are now very attainable for us. So we're just saying yes to everything, which is a very strange place to be in. And my to-do list just keeps growing and growing, kind of paradoxically, despite the increase in efficiency. So we're doing great.
And I would add on to what Steve just said. The other thing we're doing is, along with just the development people in El Salvador, we have functional consultants, project manager, and somebody who is fully focused on ISV solutions.
Was the work in El Salvador originally, was the goal of it to build up a Business Central practice there, or team of engineers?
No, it was purely an altruistic thing to try and provide higher end professional career training for people in El Salvador. It's like, hey, if I could provide Business Central training, like how hard could that be, right? I foolishly and naively thought, right? Like I could drop in a week or two, provide training, and ta-da, these people would have new Business Central ERP consulting careers. Well, I now know that was rather naive, but we now have invested. I first started training in June 2024, and now roughly 18 months later, we have a team of 5, highly productive. And so that roadmap was not fully planned, but it's turned out coincidentally to have just worked out very well. And now we have people whose best job would have been, say, an English call center job, working 50 hours a week for, say, $600 a month. Now they have an entirely different career path, like entirely different trajectory, where they can do high-end Business Central Microsoft consulting for US customers. And they're doing it. They're essentially serving us as customers, helping us do implementations, data migrations, Power BI reports, you name it, ISV implementations. We've got Continia, iSolutions, McCorma, all being implemented through El Salvador.
Wow.
I would say the other thing to add is not only having them as call center jobs with what they're doing, they would have also had to have traveled, right? Essentially an hour and a half per one way to San Salvador for that call center job, and they're not having to do that at all.
Attendees at Vibe that I talked to praised the event's relaxed and intimate environment where they could talk about the trends in the channel that are hard to discuss in other settings. For example, Joel Leichty raised the question of why partners pursue aggressive growth. And he heard back from others about a range of factors that encourage them to build a particular business strategy.
Yeah, I think my question was, why is growth good? Because a lot of times it's talked about, like growth and scale are talked about as automatically good things. Cancer is growth. Like there are things like I can demonstrate that growth isn't always good. So I think answering for anybody, or for any company, answering why you want to grow, like what is the motivation behind it, is important, because that leads itself into like some of your further decisions. And so there are valid reasons for Cooptimize to grow, and there are interesting reasons for us to grow. But there are also, if we stay the same size, that's not a bad thing, right? It's not like good or bad. It's just kind of, what is the group, what direction do we want to go in, I guess.
And that's it for this episode of the MSDW Podcast. I want to thank the organizers of Vibe, Molly Fuschel and Liz Hallen at PartnerIn, for letting me join the event and for their support of MSDW as a media partner. Thanks also once again to Joel Leichty of Cooptimize, Carol Smock of TechFluent Academy, and Tanya Henderson and Steve Endow of Blue Dragonfly for taking a few minutes to chat with me between sessions at the event. Thanks for listening to this episode of the MSDW Podcast. If you want to get in touch with me, you can send me an email, jason@msdynamicsworld.com. For all of our updates, please do follow us on LinkedIn. Until next time, this is MS Dynamics World, signing off.